Hi, thank you for joining me for part 6, sugar, excitotoxins, and using fats for the body's energy fuel and fasting for healing. Now, in part 5, I talked about the unnecessary additives that are hidden in our food and it's disguised under different names. For example, sugar. Uh, you got pretense names like fructose, glucose, sucrose, maltose, naturally sweeteners, and there are so many other sweeteners names that are disguised under sugar. Okay, and so these foods are creating false cravings, hungry, and diseases, and they are unnatural and undigested foods that are causing blockage to our electrical body system, along with creating diseases, viruses, and infections. And I say this because too many toxins are coming into our body system and not enough going out because we are not detoxifying the body system. Therefore, the food that we are consuming are making us sick and it is slowly killing us. There are pathogenics that are your bad bacterias. They get into the cells and between the cells and proliferate. They are multiplying and causing the bloodline to slow down or stop. And in turn, the blood or the cells will become sick or weak and then eventually die. We should understand that your blood flows around the body through a tube called blood vessels. Blood carry oxygens and nutrients to all parts of the body. So if your blood flow is slow, then you may have a blood clot that have formed a health condition. And there are conditions associated with the onset of blood flow. So, and some of these conditions are from the food that we consume every day. The food has no nutrients. Because if we were getting nutrients from the food that we are eating, then we wouldn't have to eat so much and we wouldn't be so sick. Have you thought about that? Even the Bible tells us in Leviticus 17:14 says, "For the life of the flesh is in the blood, and I have given it to you upon the altar to make an atonement for your souls. For it is the blood that maketh an atonement for the soul." And what that says to me is that the blood is moving throughout the entire body and is providing the nourishment and is carrying the product or the waste product out. But once that blood stops circulating like it should, then we become sick and weak and eventually will die. So the more we understand about our electromagnetic body system, the more we can begin to apply a healthier lifestyle. We just got to do this. Since we are eating too much food with less nutrients in the food, our blood will stop flowing properly because of a clogged body system. For example, when I say a clogged body system, for example, like a chemical reaction called glycation. And the acronym for glycation is AGE, or it's called advanced glycation end product, which comes from the word glucose, and glucose is sugar. So when we are eating too much sugar and food that are exposed to high temperature, frying, toasting, and grilling, and too much processed food combined with proteins and fats, then this stuff gets into our bloodstream and it creates a bad compound called glycation. And glycation is again, advanced glycation end product. Well, the acronym for that is AGE. Uh, well, that process has consequences of premature aging. It's wrinkling our body and causing the body stiffness, and it's damaging the tissues and causing vision impairment. And when the body forms too many ages, advanced glycation end product, when it's forming too many ages, then it just can't keep eliminating them because it's just too much for them. So it accumulates more and more of them. So, another example of a clogged body system involves sugar. Now, sugar aids the problematic candida, and candida is a fungus, which is yeast. So, the result of that is bloating. So, an example of that is when we're consuming too much sweet stuff, the liver gets overloaded with fructose and it converts into fats. And then some of that fats ends up in the bloodstream and it generates a dangerous kind of cholesterol, which is a small LDL. And those LDL particles are known to stay in the blood vessels and form plaques. And plaques is associated to heart disease or heart attack. And as I understand that there are many ways that body system can get clogged. And another way is aluminum foil. Cooking and using aluminum foil can seep into the food and cause the accumulation of high calcium levels in the blood. And it would hinder the calcium deposit to the bones. So, and another situation is with the brains as well. And you know that that's associated to Alzheimer's. So the blood also stops flowing properly when you're dealing with emotional problems because your feelings of sadness, frustration, anger, and so many other emotions lies in the gut, which causes that cortisol to increase the sugar or the glucose into the bloodstream. And therefore, the agony forms a health problem that has stopped in an area that is detrimental to the blood flow. I hope you see what I mean when I say that where the blood stops flowing properly, then you have encompassed a health problem. And I'm going to stop right there. And I hope you have learned something. Okay, so know that I love and care for you and come back for more of this sugar excitotoxins and using fats for the body's energy fuel and fasting for healing. We can do this together. Thank you again for listening. God bless.